Coach Daley, aka the Daily Effect. I mean, how are you doing, sir?
I'm good, man. I'm great, man. Just grinding away like I always do.
Yeah, man, you're always grinding like every day, like you're in the boxing arena, you're always training fighters. I mean, firstly, thank you for taking the time to do this. We didn't get a chance to speak to you during fight week, but I'm glad we're doing this
Yeah,
now. So thank you for taking the time to do this.
no problem, bro.
Yeah, man. I mean, firstly, before we get into anything, I saw like your IG story yesterday, going as undercover detective Daley Perales.
I just
Yeah,
like to do random skits every now and again. That's what people will find out about me. That sometimes I like to do random skits like that. Yeah,
yeah. Is it
I like
some?
I like movies and film. That's what it is.
Okay, is it something that you do on a regular as far as skits? It's just like because when I saw it, I was very convinced that you come across well as an American detective, like trying to bust out somebody. So, is that something besides boxing that acting is something that you may be passionate about too?
Yeah, I've always been passionate about acting. That's why I always do. Like, so my skits are more like there's no script. It's like spontaneous. It's like
Mm.
I just pick up a phone and I just randomly do stuff. So like that, literally, that skit there, literally, I was coming home from the gym,
Yeah.
and then I opened the door, and actually, the sound of the door, the noise that it made, the creak that it made, bang, the thought went in my head. So I put the bag down, press record, put the phone down, press record, and that's what happened. That's what turned out.
Did you manage to bust the person then in your skit, so to call it then?
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
always.
yeah. Because I mean, you were very
What
convinced.
about
Even in your American accent, like, are you able to do accents as well?
Yeah, yeah, I could do random accents and even yeah, just I'm just random, man, like that. I've always liked film, as in like Jim Carrey is like one of my idols. I started off like obviously being obsessed with him and doing all the stuff that and voices that he can do. And then from
Wow.
there yeah, it just like I got obsessed with movies, like the detail that goes into movies. I like watching movies and studying them.
Mm. So what are your favorite movies then? Like you just mentioned Jim Carrey is like one of your favorite actors. Like what are your favorite movies? Like what are your go-tos?
Anything like Jim Carrey when it comes to comedy, Ben Stiller,
Wow.
uh, Will Ferrell.
Yes.
Do you remember I don't know if you remember Gene Wilder
Yes. He was from Charlie and
with
the
Richard
Chocolate Factory,
Pryor?
right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But all the movies that he done with Richard Pryor,
Oh
like See No
yes.
Evil, Hear No Evil,
Yeah, Hear No Evil.
uh,
Yes. Nostalgia at
Stir
its
Crazy.
finest.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Stir
They're,
Crazy you
they
mentioned.
yeah, Stir Crazy,
Wow.
where they go prison for something they never even done. They're all pure comedy gold, man.
Yeah. Because I can imagine, like, based on those influences, that, as a person, like, like you said, you just like to do skits and, random skits and kind of bring that essence of, yeah, there's me as a coach, but let me bring you something else as well.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, it's just me. That's who I am. I'm like that in around people in the even in the gym. I just randomly come up, start doing voices. Yeah,
Because I literally saw one yesterday, like, even news stories. It's like, we are here with these two gentlemen. I can't remember exactly like what you was, but literally like
yeah,
you were just like narrating the whole thing like it was, I don't know, like David Attenborough or something like that. You
yeah.
know?
I was just in a funny mood, man.
Yeah, no, I
I
can
like
see.
boxing. Boxing's so intense that sometimes I like to. It's good to joke around with the fighters sometimes.
Right. So to balance the whole like having fun,
Yeah,
but also the intensity, it can be very intense. So like you just trying to balance it out so that it kind of works with your mental as well, I guess.
exactly, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, a week removed from fight night. I mean, crazy turn of events for the past couple of weeks. How?
Is this recording? Is this recording?
Yeah. I use another program to record.
Oh, okay, okay, cool.
I got the techers. I got the techers. Don't worry about that.
Oh, good techers, good techers. Yeah.
So basically, I use a program called OBS. So literally, like I can put backgrounds, and then it records as I'm doing it. So then I don't have to
I
edit
know
it later.
OBS.
Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
so that's what I'm using anyway.
Yeah, cool, man.
Okay. I mean, so a week removed from fight night, like you must be feeling like all sorts of emotions, like for the past like week or two. Like, how are you feeling currently now, though?
No, I feel good. We're ready for the next one, man. And more importantly, excited to for them to learn, because as I've told them over the phone, over phone calls, like now is the time while we're waiting for the new date, which should get confirmed in the next few weeks. While we're waiting for the new date, this is the most important time to learn, you know, your craft. And that's what fighters don't seem to understand. Some fighters see it as they fight and then they go missing for a while or go on holiday for 2 months and don't do anything. But that's the most crucial point. Time is to work on your craft when you don't have a date, especially if you're not at the level of like Floyd Mayweather, where you know, you just go, like if you're at Floyd's level, you just go into camp and you train, and then you go off and do whatever for a while you're waiting for a next date. But on the way up, you need to consistently be in the gym.
So I mean, obviously now it's like, you know, off the back of the fight, like you're consistent with it. So it's just like, you know, we're gonna keep pushing as it were be before a fight, but now you don't have a fight scheduled at the moment, but you're continuing on as if a fight is happening just around the corner.
Yeah, yeah, and that's like, it's a busy schedule as well, man, because I got one of my pros fight this month on March 27th. I've got my other pros fighting on May the 14th, and then in and around that, I've got improve and work just as hard with my brother King Kenny and Deji as well, because as I said from the beginning, when I first started training my brother a year ago, I was saying, listen, if we're going to do this, let's do this properly. Don't do it as no joke just because you're a YouTuber. Don't do it like you're only going to turn up twice a week or 3 times a week, because that's not how it's going to go. If you want me to train you, I don't care if you're my brother, we have to do this properly so you don't make a fool of yourself and have some credibility when you're in there, so people could turn around and go, oh wow, he actually looks like a fighter, this guy. You know what I mean? So that's why it's a lot of hard work goes into it, and a lot of emotion as well, because I'm working with these boys day in, day out. They're YouTubers as well. So, you know, like when they boxed the other night, it's not like professional boxing where I send them out there with a game plan and they've got the experience to stick to it. So I don't have to say too much during a round. All the information gets said in between rounds. But because they're YouTubers, because they're nurses, like my voice is like, it's only just recovering now, because I had to shout and guide and give instructions for every second of the round, because they don't have the experience to keep to a game plan for a whole round. You know what I mean?
So, I mean, like, you know, before training Deji and Kenny, I mean, how did you feel about the idea of YouTube boxing? I mean, of course, like KSI and Joe Weller were the people to kind of set it off. And as we know, as far as the art of boxing, like we've known it to be what it is and up until recently. So, I mean, you know, what were your perspective in thinking of YouTube boxing then, and how do you think of it now, considering the fact that obviously you were willing to take on Deji for, you know, for 6 weeks, and obviously Kenny for a whole year?
Yeah. When it first came around, I was like, what the fuck is this shit, man? To be honest, because obviously if you're a real boxing person, you're like, you look at it as like, wait a minute, there's fighters that bloody sacrifice their whole life, right? And they still haven't been given the platform that these guys have got, right? They are not on shows of this magnitude. They're not on pay-per-view events, and they're grinding every every single day in the gym. And I'm talking about talented fighters as well, you know.
Yeah.
Like against it, probably like a lot of other people that are, you know, boxing men, boxing people, boxing women. But as time went on, I started to look at it differently and be like, wait a minute, this could be good for boxing.
Mm-hmm.
As long as people see it as, okay, that's YouTube,
mm-hmm.
and this is professional boxing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you are taking it serious enough where you learn your craft, and you get to the point where you're like, you know what, I can turn professional, then that's fine. But as it stands right now, I think how it is right now is where it should be at. It's bringing a lot of attention to boxing, but also it's bringing a lot of attention to the YouTube world for people like me that didn't understand the YouTube world as well.
Right.
So being around my brother, being around Deji and all that, I've started to understand the YouTube world. I mean, because like all the fighters, the YouTube fighters as well, I didn't even know who they are. I still don't know some of them. Like I've got the promoter on the phone to me talking about the next show, going, how about Deji fight on the next one this person? Kenny fight this person. I say, who? Can you send me a link so I can watch them?
Yeah, I hear that, because it seems like from your perspective, obviously the whole YouTube world was new to you before obviously bringing these guys on. I mean, how's the event as a whole, like, you know, fight night, the press conference, the weigh-ins, you know, in the YouTube world, and then bringing it into boxing, like how has this whole event helped you regarding gaining more exposure, not just for the boxing world, but for you personally as a brand and as a coach?
Yeah, well, as I said, what I was going to go into, I was going to say, you know, if I've looked at it eventually, like, let me put myself in like Jake Paul's shoes, for example, and I had the fan base that he had. I had an interest in boxing. I wanted to do something else, challenge myself, and not just rely on just YouTube. And then I'll be like, and if I can make millions from just having a fight against someone that is on the same level as me or isn't going to trouble me, and then hell yeah, I'm going to do that. I think anyone would do that, you know? But now I've immersed myself in it, and I've gone through camp with YouTubers, and it's come to fight week. I've seen how it's run. I've seen the behind the scenes, what goes on within the media stuff, the face-to-face, press conference, the media workout. I was like, you know what? I have to give them props, because they're doing it the right way, you know? And the way they set it up, I mean, who wouldn't want to watch it if you're setting it up like that?
Because how did you feel then with the, you know, like being interviewed, like, you know, throughout the whole week, like that, you know, everyone wants to talk to you, like obviously with the YouTubers, it helps obviously that, you know, your brothers with Kenny, and obviously having built that exposure, like, you know, everyone is now understanding who you are more as a coach. Maybe not as much before, but obviously now there's been a lot of attention on your part. Like, you know, have people been paying even more attention now since this event has happened?
Yeah, of course. Like, I mean, the media stuff I'm used to anyway, because of boxing, always getting interviewed and all that kind of stuff. So when someone shoves a camera in my face and asks me to talk about boxing, it just comes natural to me. But yeah, I mean, since the weekend, I think I went from, what did I go from? Like 10,000 to 21,500 in 1 week, you know? So I've had a lot of love, a lot of DMs. That is impossible to answer all of them. So I've even asked Blood Brother Media, who are the guys behind like all the media stuff on that show the past weekend. I've been able to like, because I've become friends with them,
Mm.
can help me like a few times a week run my social media, you know, because I'm not used to all this stuff. So I need a bit of help when it comes to that kind of stuff. But it's been amazing, man. The support's been amazing. A few little haters here and there, but if you don't have haters, if you don't have haters, then you know,
you're not doing your job properly.
You know? Yeah, exactly. So, and I know a lot of them as well. A lot of their fan base, the teenagers as well. So there's a lot of trolls that you just got to let it. You got to go in one ear, out the other ear.
Exactly. Because I can imagine, like, because even like the whole week, like, you know, there's been like people that have egged Alex Wassabi, and you know, kids are just like literally just cussing like left, right, and center, and it's just like I'm starting to think to myself like, wow, like what are these kids doing at this point? Because I'm thinking like to be passionate about like people that you support, that's one thing. And to boo someone or cheer someone, that's another thing. But when you take it to another extreme, especially like what some of these kids are doing, like, you know, threatening some of the fighters, I'm thinking like, wow, that's a bit crossing the line a bit.
Yeah, I was talking the other day, I was saying in professional boxing, see, YouTube boxing is good for boxing, but where it's different is the fans.
100%.
Like the audience is younger, obviously. So the fan base reminds me of like, you know, WWE.
Yep, and I'm a big fan of WWE.
For example. And then obviously you've got adults that support them because as well, like in WWE, you got those obsessed adults that are really into it.
Yeah.
But the audience is different. Like in professional boxing, you wouldn't have someone like a fan throwing eggs and all that kind of stuff. I mean, you get rowdy fans, but it's a bit similar to like football fans.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, 100.
Yeah. But the YouTubers is all about basically trolling. That's what I've got from it. Like you support heavy who you're supporting, but also you're out to troll everyone else.
Yeah, well, I mean, like you said, just go in one ear and out the other, and don't let it get to you, because, you know, some people are like I said, keyboard warriors. They want to say one thing 1 minute, but as soon as they see you face to face, they'll change their whole demeanor and think like, oh yeah, nice to meet you, all that sort of stuff. So it's like, that's why I don't really bother with like trolls or haters in that way. I'll just let it pass over me or whatever.
But what I do want to do is I want to, because it's a different audience, I want to use my platform to for them to understand how boxing really is, you know, because a lot of them don't understand. They're like for example, Deji lost, right? But they can't understand why he lost, because I'm not talking about the two previous fights. Forget the two previous fights. They can't understand why he lost. They're like, just Deji lost. Fucking he's shit. You're shit, coach. This and that. They don't understand, you know, the details, you know, in boxing and what it involves. They just see a win or a loss. That's it. So I want to give some knowledge, use my platform to give knowledge to like the new audience that I have, so they can understand boxing a bit more, you know.
I mean, speaking of Deji's performance in the ring, I mean, you mentioned in another interview that his defense was a lot stronger than his offense. There wasn't a lot of counter strikes that happened. You know, and there was a lot of like spin backs and stuff like that, which was, you know, a massive improvement compared to the previous two fights. But from your side, obviously, you know, only have trained Deji for 6 weeks, and then, you know, there's been a lot of sparring, you know, between you guys. Kenny, obviously KSI come through in one of the sessions as well. When it came down to it, and obviously with his performance in the ring, like as a coach and the way you're seeing it at the time in real time, you know, what did you see that he could improve on? And obviously going forward, like you guys are friends, so I'm guessing now, like, you know, you're continuing this journey in, you know, improving Deji, improving Kenny to have even better fights.
Yeah. Well, we're definitely continuing. So that's like everyone been going. Are you still training Deji? Are you still training Deji? Yes, I'm still his trainer. I'm his friend as well, like an older brother. Like, so I want to mentor him and advise him and stuff. But when I was watching the fight, there was two sides to it. One side was wow, he's really doing the things that I'm teaching him.
Right.
And he's looking like what the YouTube fan base have to understand about boxing. It's not about getting in there, ding, ding, and you go all guns blazing trying to knock someone out. You know what I mean? They got to understand that I'm trying to teach Deji so he can last longer as a fighter if he wants to choose it as a career, you know? So to do that, I need to give him all the tools, intelligent tools, to be able to do that. So when I was watching him, I was like, wow, he's really doing the things I'm teaching him. Like he's fainting, you know, he's creeping towards him, moving his head. When the punches are coming towards him, he's slipping and rolling. I was like, wow, this is good. But what I was trying to tell him in between rounds, I was like, listen, you're going to give this fight away if you don't start letting your hands go.
Right.
And that's the side where it was a bit frustrating.
Right.
Because he was doing all the right things, but just weren't letting the hands go. But even though I was frustrated, I also understand boxing. I've been in this sport my whole life, understand boxing enough and body language and demeanor to understand that he is not going to do the things that I want him to do just yet in a short space of time, especially when he's got the trauma from what's happened in the past.
Right.
Like gassing out, being overweight, getting stopped, all these things. So boxing, a lot of it, you should know, a lot of it is mental.
Right. 100%.
You know, you can be as fit as you want. You can be as conditioned as you want. But if your mind is not psychologically 100% and you're doubting certain things, and then you're not going to do it. You're not going to apply it. So I understood, even though I was frustrated, that he needs confidence. And to get the confidence, he needs more time. I'm not a miracle man.
Right.
I can't, as much as I improved him in only 3 weeks of actual real teaching and make him do, I can't send him out there and make him do everything that I want him to do.
For sure.
Right? It's going to take time. He needs experience. He needs more sparring. He needs more things broken down. And he needs someone around his shoulder to be like, you could do this, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And yeah, go on.
And yeah, that takes more time. I mean, he's come a long way with me in a short space of time. You know?
Yeah.
It's the reason why he sees me as like an older brother to him. But that's only been done in like less than 6 weeks, you know? Imagine now. Yeah, so imagine it. Let's say the next show is in the summer, for example. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you think what's going to happen?
Yeah.
If he looks like that, and then what's going to happen when he's got more confidence and belief inside him, you know? And that's it.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting you say that because I mean, obviously, like, you know, the notably, like, one of KSI's videos that came out a few days ago, I believe a lot of people would have seen it by now, where he vents his frustration in a similar way to how you said there was a bit of frustration because he wasn't bringing his offense in. You know, KSI pretty much said the same thing, and he, you know, it seemed like JJ was going in on him, but in knowing that they're brothers, that they know each other in terms of that. And I mean, and I guess for you, obviously, you being brothers with Kenny, you'd have that same mentality in saying, like, you know what, I'm not gonna do dilly dally around this. Like, I'm taking this seriously. So, having seen that video and, you know, all that sort of stuff, like, you know, how does that put it in perspective for you? Like, you know, having seen KSI's videos about his frustrations with Deji in the ring.
The funny thing you said about, like, brothers, you talk a certain way. I mean, I don't care. Like, with my fighters, I talk to them like family. If they're not doing what I tell them to do,
right? Like,
even if they don't hit the target, I'll say, "What the F is that? What is that?" You know what I mean? For example.
Yeah.
But with Kenny's sometimes we'll be in the gym, we'll be in the ring, and he's not doing something that I want him to do, like, because I'm a real perfectionist,
right?
And I look at him with like a disgust face, and I say what, and then Kenny's confused. He's like, "What did I do?"
And obviously, because you've been together all your lives, it's just like when that disappointment comes out, it's just like, what's he thinking?
Yeah.
He doesn't know.
Yeah, he doesn't know.
Yeah.
So then I have to explain to him and break it down why I'm talking to you like that. But to tell the truth, everyone's been asking me, have you seen a KSI video? Have you seen a KSI video? Like, I've had loads of DMs from fans. Have you seen it? Have you seen it?
Sure.
Literally, I watched it for, I think it was Bread Batch.
Yes.
And I think I saw it. I saw the clip that they put up, which was only like a minute clip.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, somebody else might, after that minute, go, no, I want to hear the rest of this, because I think it's like 11 minutes long or something.
Mm-hmm.
But I never. I kind of got what he was saying.
In that 1 minute.
Yeah, in that 1 minute. I didn't need to go and see 11 minutes of the video, you know?
Right.
At the end of the day, this is the way I see it. Family is family. Yeah. Who am I to turn around and you know, comment on what KSI is saying against his own brother?
Yeah.
You know,
facts.
Let that be. Okay. Let KSI do what he wants to do, say what he wants to do. That's his brother. I don't have no right to be like, what are you doing? Why are you speaking to him like that? Blah blah blah. You know. And you never know. Deji probably used to that anyway. Yeah. You know, like, so other people might be like, oh, that's harsh. But Deji might be, to Deji, that might be a normal thing, you know? So all I can do is like, I'm not listening to that. What am I doing?
So you're looking at it from your own perspective, as opposed to like everything that's going around, like you're going heads on with it.
Because I will say this. You got to remember, KSI wasn't in our camp.
No.
Yeah.
He did turn up to one of your sparring sessions though.
Turned up on for the last sparring session.
Right.
Right. And I think KSI, because he spoke to me, obviously he was like turning up because obviously he's trying to see like where's Deji at, you know, if he's ready for the fight. And he was going in on his on KSI, you know,
exactly what he said.
So I understood the frustration from his brother. Yeah. But what I will say at my defense is that KSI wasn't in the camp. He only turned up for that one sparring session.
Right.
So he doesn't know all the discussions that I've had with Deji.
Right.
All the things that forget boxing, just mentally, that I've had to try and change within him, you know. And obviously KSI, yes, he's had 2 fights. Is it 2 fights?
He's had 2. No, 3 fights. 1 with Joe Weller and 2 with Logan Paul.
Okay. But in my world, right, he's still inexperienced.
Right.
Himself, you know? So there's a lot of things that go into boxing. Yes, he's been around good people, probably good boxing coaches, fighters. He's been in camps. But you got to remember, I've done this my whole life.
Right.
Right? So what he's saying about his brother, I ain't got a problem with that.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the training himself, all I know is what I'm doing.
For sure.
What I'm trying to achieve and what I'm trying to change within Deji. And after the fight, when we were in the dressing room, KSI was basically talking to him the same way in front of me in the dressing room and in front of all my assistant and everyone else. The same way he was on that video, more or less.
Right.
Yeah, so he's not going on that video and just doing it just for no reason. He was actually doing it in the same thing in the dressing room. And the only thing me and KSI was agreeing on, actually, one of the things we was agreeing on is like, because Deji was like asking KSI, do you think I should fight? Obviously, you know what the answer is. KSI is going, no, you've lost 3 times. Why are you going to fight? But he goes, I love it. Deji's going, I love it. I want to fight. But then, it came down to, right, if you want to do it, then you got to make it a lifestyle. So that was my only thing. It's like, I was like to Deji, listen, I'm here for you, man. If you really want to do this, then I'm here for you. But you really got to want it from here.
Right.
You know? If we're going to do this, you forget everyone else. Forget everyone else. Should I box? Should I box? It should be, do you want to box?
100%.
And are you willing to go through everything that needs to be done, you know, to go in that ring and look your absolute best? And that's it. So yeah, with KSI, I ain't got a problem with what KSI said. It's pretty normal. Do you know how many arguments I've had with my brothers? You know. Same with.
I think with family, just in general, like, you know, I've had arguments with my brother. It's just a normal dynamic. Like, if it wouldn't be any other way anyway.
Yeah, exactly. And then you move on. You're like, I love you, bro. Yeah, done, bro. You know what I mean?
That's it.
So I get it, man. As I said, all I know is what I'm doing in my camp and what I'm trying to achieve. Not just because it's Deji, but with all my fighters, my professional fighters.
100%. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if KSI came to me, then he would know what time it is. You know, for example, he would know what time it is. He would know what time it is. He'd be surrounded by the most hungriest people and fighters, you know, out there. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
like even if I wasn't to train him, if he just came along and just said, you know what, I'm going to surround myself around these people for the next month. Anybody understand me as a person, understand me as a trainer, understand my philosophy, my methods, my mentality. You know, you can't know someone from the outside. You know.
And I wanted to turn attention to the King Kenny versus Faze Temperrr fight, because you've been very, very open and very vocal about the recent overturned decision for Faze Temperrr to be the winner. You know, because even with Kenny on his, he did a YouTube video a day removed from the fight. You know, he said that the rounds were pretty much very, very close. It could have gone either way, especially with the third round. So for you, based on, you know, what you've seen and obviously the overturned decision, what's your thoughts in, you know, you guys potentially wanting to do a rematch? Is that something potentially on the cards, like to really, you know, really see who the better man is in, I guess, in this instance?
Yeah, definitely. Because it was a close fight.
Yeah, it was.
You know, what YouTube world don't need to realize is judges don't just score fights based on punches landing on the head as well, right? There's other targets. And you also, most importantly, you get scored for ring generalship. Okay? So now, ring generalship is a very big one. And in my opinion, Kenny had the better ring generalship.
Right.
But Temperrr probably is a hard one, because Temperrr landed the more technical shots, I reckon. But then Kenny landed the more decisive shots when he did get close and open up on him.
Yeah.
Kenny went well to the body. Temperrr didn't go to the body, really. All these shots were like to the head.
Yeah.
So, and then you got the ring generalship aspect. So if anyone looked up the rules in professional boxing and the way judges score fights, it's not just head. There's other details that go into scoring a fight. So, in my opinion, it was close. I reckon a fair result would have been a draw.
Yeah. And then
that's my opinion. A fair result
would have been more of like a definitive thing where it's like, a rematch then could be in the cards because obviously it's a draw,
Yeah.
and then you could really like factor in who is the better man. And obviously with more training on your side, especially with Kenny, you know, improvements can be made at that point.
Yeah, yeah. And listen, I take my hat off to Temperrr and his team. It's not like I'm turning around and going, Temperrr, shit, we won the fight, this and that. Temperrr actually surprised me when that bell rang, because I know boxing. As soon as he came across, as soon as he met Kenny in the center of the ring, I was like, oh, okay, he knows how to hold himself.
Yeah.
I always know by the way you hold yourself as a fighter, like your base and your stance.
Yeah.
And he surprised me when he came out. So like Temperrr has actually got good technical ability. Do I think he's strong? No, he's got no power. Yeah. He needs to learn a lot, because all he was doing was just sitting on the back foot, just waiting to counter most of the time. But I take my hat off to them. I think a draw would be good. Draw would have been good. And also about the appeal, in professional boxing, you rarely ever see a decision get overturned. And then what that does, the person can be angry, the team can be angry that it doesn't get overturned or whatever. But what it does, it sets up, it gets people talking, and everyone wants to see a rematch.
Yep.
You know?
Yep. I was a part of that as well. I literally put my opinions about it as well, so it gets people talking.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So the appeal for the YouTube fight between King Kenny and Temperrr, to me, obviously, I'm not used to it because it doesn't happen in professional boxing.
Right.
The way the appeal went about as well, you know, to me, it was a bit strange the way it all went about, the appeal. And you got to remember, this is a different world from boxing.
Yeah.
You're right. You've got world champion professional boxers with 200K followers. And they are world champions. Now, you've got Temperrr, never boxed before in his life.
Over 2 million.
Had his first fight. So when you get a result like that, which is controversial, and then you're going to have all his social media people ranting and raving about the result.
Yeah.
Then what happens? That puts pressure on the commission that was part of the show. And you got to remember, this commission was doing their first YouTube boxing event. Right? So they've seen the magnitude of this show. They've seen Wembley Arena, the attention that it's got, the pay-per-view numbers. They're probably thinking, no, we want to do more shows here. Let's not upset anyone. And let's, you know, if they're getting a lot of pressure, because you got to remember, the appeal has come from them. We're just sitting back. On paper, we won the fight. So why are we going to bloody put any pressure on them? It's not us doing the appeal.
Yeah.
They're the one getting the pressure from that side. And you're not talking about a world champion with 200,000 followers. You're talking about a YouTube bloody star with millions of followers. So
that's crazy.
Yeah, so that's where I think like professional boxing and YouTube boxing is different, because obviously you've got a lot of influence there. But you know what? When the appeal happened, me and Kenny was like, you know what? It is what it is.
Yeah.
Kenny wasn't even down. He was pissed off, but he wasn't down. He was like, you know what? It is what it is. This has only fueled me to get better. And the next person he steps in the ring with, trust me, you won't see the final bell. Trust me, because the beauty of it as well, he's still a novice. So by the time the next fight comes around, Kenny's going to be 10 times better.
100%.
You know?
Even with Deji, like, you know, like you said, you only had like 3 weeks before the main fight. Imagine what could happen in a couple of months. And obviously now, you know, you're still in the camp.
I only spoke about Deji having COVID. Deji had COVID, me COVID, and then Kenny got COVID.
Wow.
This all happened 3 weeks before the fight.
Wow.
You know, so it disrupted Kenny. Kenny had, even on the day of the fight, he still had a horrific cough.
Right.
He didn't have COVID anymore, but the effects from COVID, he had the cough, always sniffing all the time. I still got a cough, annoying cough.
In fact, I've had it even yesterday. Like I had like the inner stitches, and then today, I mean, I just about, I've got the energy now because I'm good. But like a few hours ago, I was just like, nah, fuck this.
Yeah, exactly. So like, obviously, we're not using COVID as an excuse.
Gotcha.
Right? But we're just talking facts.
Right. That
our training camp, especially with Kenny, it was kind of okay because I've been training him for a whole year. But it was more about the timing of him having COVID. Like, we don't need this, like 3 weeks before a fight or whatever. But with Deji, because it was worse, because I only had 6 weeks with him, for him to get COVID within those 6 weeks with me was not ideal whatsoever, because he couldn't train for more than a week. He couldn't train properly. So it properly disrupted everything that we was doing. But, you know, as I said, Kenny was motivated. He was like, it's fine, man. One thing they can't take away from us is the occasion that we had and we shared on that night, you know. And in my opinion as well, I have to say, Kenny had the coldest ring walk in YouTube history. In YouTube history.
Yes. Yeah.
That was cold.
Yeah.
Like his whole demeanor and the way he prepared himself mentally for the fight as well. Like not even professional boxers. Some professional boxers find that hard to do. Like he was watching what he was eating. He wanted the right fuel. He wanted the right amount of sleep. And in the dressing room, he was confident, smiling, but cold demeanor, like he's ready for war. And then when he took that ring walk, like he made me want to get in the ring and fight.
Yes. Like
it just looked like. And then when we went to walk towards the ring, and I had myself on one side, and then my assistant, who's my pro fighter that helped me out with Kenny, on the other side, with just us three walking that slow walk to many men.
When I saw that,
yeah,
fam, game time, game fucking time.
I tell you what, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people was there to obviously see Deji because obviously he's got the bigger fan base.
For sure.
But I think Kenny stole that night.
Yeah, I agree.
Like
I would agree.
He had Wembley Arena rocking, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So we're not discouraged, you know. Like, listen, it's not professional boxing where we're like, this is just ruined. You know, put a dent in your record, you know. This was amateur, but we're not even amateur because they were wearing 14-ounce gloves in amateur. Yeah. When you're at elite level, you're wearing 10-ounce gloves, you know. So we're just going to go back in the gym, get better, and show everyone what he can do. And that's it, really. We're just going to, we're discussing what's next. The rematch against Temperrr, we want it to be in America.
Yeah.
Which we discussed. So that just shows you as well the mentality of Kenny to say, I'm not telling him that. He's saying that to me. I want the rematch in his backyard in America, and I'm not going to leave it to the judges. I'm going to knock him out.
Yeah, that's what he said in his video.
That just shows you his mentality, you know? Because some people will be like, no. We're going to have the rematch and having it in my hometown, back in my hometown where it's more comfortable, you know? But we will have the rematch, but we only want it in 10-ounce gloves. Forget 14-ounce gloves. And the fact that we've got Eddie Hearn talking about it as well to put it on the zone just shows you what a great fight that everyone thought it was. And it takes two to tango. So you got to give credit to Temperrr. yeah, Faze Temperrr and his team for bringing that version of him. Because everyone was saying that was the fight of the night, as in technical wise.
Yep.
They both look like fighters in there, you know?
Yeah. No, I hear that. I mean, you know, the possibilities are like endless at this point, and then I'm just excited for the prospects of, you know, what you, Deji, Kenny can come up with, especially now, like you said, you know, you're working into potential fights in the future. So, you know, I'm excited for the prospects of it.
Yeah,
I mean,
we don't know the dates, but we're looking for this in the summer. Yeah.
I wanted to talk about like more so you at this point, because, you know, you said that you're very, very close with your fighters that you train. What sparked that for you, as far as like when you started boxing? You know, you had that dynamic of being friends with the people you train. Like, where did it all spark?
Well, because I can't pinpoint it as in where did it all start. I just think it's a natural thing because I never grew up with parents my whole life. You know, right. I was in foster homes from the age of 2. So, I mean, I had parents, but like foster parents.
Right.
I never had my real mother or father. So I think maybe because I never had that, then that's the reason why I am the way I am with my fighters. You know, that I want to show them that I'm there for them. You know what I mean?
Because it makes sense, because maybe because you didn't get it from your parents so much that you wanted to give it to the people that you care about, especially like you said, your fighters, your friends. You want to give back to what you necessarily didn't get, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I've got my ways. I do it in a, how can I say? It's not like I'm like I don't know. It's hard because I'm not like a cuddly person, you know.
Right.
My fighter Martin, he always goes, "I love you, coach," and I say, "You too." And
yeah.
Goes,
you don't say the whole thing.
You don't say it and say it.
Yeah. It's like one of those ones. It's like,
He goes, "Coach, why don't you say it back?"
Yeah, it's like, you
goes,
right?
Coach, why don't you say it back? Just say it. Yeah, just say it, coach. Yeah. Or when my fighter, especially him, because he's had a similar life to me, Martin, he give me a cut, he give me a hug, and he go, "Hug me properly, man." And but you know what? Even though I'm like that, they know how much I care and I love them.
Right.
So
you show it in other ways, basically.
I show it in other ways, man. Like it could be like going to the coffee shop, getting a coffee, buy them a coffee, sit them down, and then it's not that I'm talking about life, it's just we naturally start talking about life. And then I tell them, give them advice, or I tell them, don't do this or do that. You know what I mean? It's just like authentic. That's what I'm trying to say. You know, nothing's forced. And I think that's why they gravitate towards me. And, you know, people like Deji, in only 6 weeks, he's doing YouTube videos going, Daley's like the best thing that's happened. He's like a brother to me, you know?
Yeah.
It's just, it's just authentic. I don't force nothing, man. That's just how I am with my fighters. We are with you. What you got to remember is we are with each other day in, day out. Yeah, every single day. Yeah, I'm with them. I am with them more than I am with my family. You know what I mean?
Facts.
Yeah. So when you're with someone for a length of time like that every day, and then you're gonna connect with them, you know, in ways that, you know, you can't explain, you know?
Yeah, because I'm thinking that, you know, not just within fighting, that you must just give like general life advice based on your experiences. I mean, obviously with Deji coming in so late into the camp, but seeing you as a brother, like outside of boxing, like what's been the best advice that you've given him just in a life sort of expectancy, even with Kenny as well? I mean, obviously you've been brothers all your life, but is there a particular piece of advice that stands out when you talk to them?
Excuse my language, but I'm like, fuck everyone else, man. You're fucking Deji, man.
I like that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Who gives a shit about what anyone else? You do things for you, man. Yeah,
Mm.
that's basically like how I talk to him.
Mm.
He's probably not used to someone being like that. I don't know.
Mm.
But like everything he does, like all through camp, right? I always told him, stop with the negativity.
Mm.
And the negativity was because of other people,
Right.
the things that people have done to him or made him feel a certain way or vulnerable or this and that, and the past camps or him losing fights and stuff. I'm like, stop with the negativity, man. Around here, around me, we're gonna train with positivity. You know what I mean? So forget everyone else. I think he appreciates that I treated him as not Deji, a YouTuber,
Like Deji, a person, a human being.
A person, yeah. To tell the truth, I don't see all that YouTube shit when I'm training him.
Gotcha.
The only time I saw that, wow, Deji is actually
a big deal.
A big deal is on fight week.
Yeah.
And then the fact that when we went out to restaurants or
that people were wanting selfies and things like that. Yeah.
That's the only time I was like, oh, okay, that's your other world. But even when he was taking selfies and all that, it did not faze me in a way like, oh wow, I'm really training a famous person here. No, it's not bother me. I'm more interested in him. I'm more interested in him.
Yeah.
And I think slowly he's gotten to understand me as a person as well. Because I've told him about stuff in my life as well, and things and experiences that I've been through and all that kind of stuff. And I think he's started to understand me. Me and him are actually pretty similar. We're alike, very alike. We're introverted but extroverted to an audience.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? Like me, I don't do much in life, man. I just go to the gym and then I come home. I don't really like going anywhere. You know what I mean? I'm in my own, I like my own little world, my own little world. And I think he's a bit like that as well. But I could see the confidence coming out of him in different ways. Like we was clothes shopping and I told Deji, I'm just going to go in this shop. I'll meet you in that shop, in the shop that he went in. I said, I'll meet you there in a minute. I'm just going to look in here. So I'm looking around in the shop, in the aisles, and the clothes on the racks and stuff.
Yeah. And
then out of nowhere, he comes running towards me and screams and goes, ah, like that, to try and scare me. And and it would, and I think like he wouldn't have done that before,
Right.
So
you bought him out of his shell much more.
Yeah. I reckon he's like, I don't know about anyone else, but with me, like he started to come out of his shell where he started to act like goofy around me. And like he says, he sees me as an older brother. So I guess that's why he started to get more confident around me and to be like that, you know what I mean? So it's nice to see, man. It's nice to see.
Yeah. I mean, has Deji given you advice in terms of the YouTube world even? Because obviously, being as a coach, like, you gained like 10K followers in the space of a week because of the exposure, what's happened on this fight week. Like, has he given you advice in terms of like maybe setting up I mean, obviously I know you got a YouTube channel, but has he told you about maybe to expand more in that way?
Yeah. What is it called? Google AdSense?
That's right, yeah.
Yeah. You see, yeah. My brother and him have explained to me about like what that is and what I have to do and all that kind of stuff. But not really, It's just more like he's more just said like if you get any hate or trolls, don't respond to it.
Right. 100%.
He goes, just let it go, man. He goes, don't even respond to people like that. Because in the beginning, I was like, it's so hard to respond to something,
Yeah.
But he's explaining to me like, listen, that's, it's how it is, what I mean? So don't.
Yeah.
Don't take it personal.
Personally, yeah, just carry on. Like you said, one ear and out the other. I just wanted to touch on as well before I let you go. You've been very, very open and very vocal and very brave. In fact, one of your posts the other day, you were talking about borderline personality disorder, and I have to commend you on, you know, being open, because I can gather it's not easy to discuss on an open forum like this. You know, what made you decide that now's the right time for you to talk about it? And also with people that have PPD as well, like, you know, what should they do to help themselves to live as best lives as possible?
You know what? When I done that video of the BPD video, I'm a very spontaneous guy. It weren't a thing where I was like, oh, today I'm gonna do a BPD video and spread awareness. I was literally watching Champions League football.
Right.
And then I just got this energy over me. And I was like, now's the time. So I got my camera, went downstairs into the computer room, put it down on the table, press record, and that's what came out. I didn't have a script. I didn't plan anything or anything like that. That's just what happened. So like, but I will say, like, all my life, because I've been in foster homes and I've suffered with hardship and all that, and I've lived on my own from a very young age, had kids young as well, and all this kind of stuff, all the stuff that you would, you know, and all the stuff like my kids, I would try to tell them to stay away from and not do, you know. I've always wanted to share my story to people, but obviously it's better when you got a platform to do it, right? Because it reaches more people.
100%.
You know, so but I've always wanted to do it. I've always wanted to be like okay, now, yes, I was talking about BPD, but it all stems from where I've come from, as in like being in foster homes. Right. You know, that's where it comes from. So it all merges together. It's all one. It's not I've got BPD. It's all come from the traumas from the past. So,
gotcha.
So I've always wanted to spread awareness, not for BPD. That's just an added thing. It's just more about where I've come from, and to show people, like, even though you've had that life or you're going through hardships, use it as fuel to be successful in life, and don't use it as an excuse to, I don't know, go and be a criminal, or, you know, or have your back up and be like, fuck the world because of look what happened to me, so I'm just going to sit around and do nothing. And because I've had it tough and I've had it hard. So I've just used that as fuel, really. Do I have bad days? Yes, I do. I'm not perfect, man. I'm not perfect. I would never go out there and do something like dramatic, like in life and all that. But I just mean me as a person. Like, I'm not perfect every single day. I have moments where I could be the same way for like a month, and then all of a sudden a switch will just turn me back to a different kind of mood. So it's like, it's very difficult to live with. I would say that, because you're trying to understand yourself, and sometimes I don't even understand myself. So it's very hard to live with, because you think you know yourself, but then at the same time you're a bit confused with how you are, you know?
Would you say that boxing, in a way, is a form of escapism? I know that you're very passionate about it and you've been doing it for a very long time, but would you say that because of all the traumas that you've had, that boxing is your way of escaping it all?
Yeah, boxing is a big help. Boxing is a big help, because someone with my condition needs something to focus on. Maybe it's the reason why I'm so obsessed when it comes to teaching boxing and the detail that goes into it. Like, I get questions, people go like, how the hell do you know all this stuff about boxing? You know, like the detail, because anyone can be a coach, right? And pull up some pads and tell them 1-2 left hook. But yeah, that might look great, but what's your knowledge of the sport? And I think that's where my strengths are. My strengths are that I can actually watch boxing and understand it. I watch it once and I understand everything about that thing in detail. Scenario, why, when, what, you know, what to do, when not to do it. All the small details of boxing, I'm very, very knowledgeable when it comes to it. And I think part of it, yeah, is because I'm so obsessed and focused on the sport. It keeps my mind right as well. I mean, sometimes it's not a good thing because I'm giving advice to so many people and everyone else, but I don't listen to advice that I get, you know, put to me.
Yourself. So you're good at giving advice, but receiving advice might be a different thing.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Like BPD, it affects you in a way, like as well that I find it hard to see things from other people's point of view.
Right.
So, like, if they're saying I need to do this or I need to do that, or I can't see it from like I need to process things in a way that I need to process it, not in the way other people think I need to process it. Like if you tell me to do something and you must do it like this, I will never do it.
No, so you resist on that.
Yeah. Well, it's just because I don't know. It's just because if anything goes wrong, I want it to go wrong
on your shoulders and no one else.
On my shoulders and no one else, because I don't want to let anyone down. That's what it is.
Gotcha.
I mean, man, there's 100 million things I could say. Like it affects you in different ways, man.
So,
like,
yeah, go on.
No, nothing. It just affects you in a lot of different ways. Like even at home, like I could just be sitting there at home around my family and just be like silent, for example, and then you know. It takes you know, I don't know. It's a lot of things goes involved.
I hear that. I mean, you know, like you said, you know, you're brave to put that out there. I mean, you know, for people that are going through similar things to you, like what would be the best thing? I mean, obviously you said like you're good at giving advice. So for those that are going for a similar thing to you, what should people do if they come to terms with it? Or is it ongoing process basically? Is it just a thing that
it's yeah. It is an ongoing process. I mean, before, like it was my wife actually that actually like called an ambulance on me one time.
Oh, wow.
Because I was having an episode, and the ambulance turned up to the gym.
Wow.
And this was like a day before I was flying out to Denmark with one of my fighters to have a fight, and I had an ambulance there. And I even called my wife, and I was angry. I was like, "What the fuck are you doing calling an ambulance to the fucking gym?" I was going crazy because I was embarrassed, obviously, like having an ambulance turn up at a gym.
Yeah.
Because I'm having an episode. It wasn't a nice time, you know. But it made me realize that I needed to get the help. So sometimes you need someone to like give you that push to like get the help. Yeah. I went and got the help, but as you said, it's an ongoing process. Just because I got the help and I've gone through therapy doesn't mean I'm all cured and I'm healed. But
for sure.
I'm gonna live normal every single day. Every single day is a battle for me. The only reason people don't know it's a battle for me is because I'm a very silent person and I keep a lot of things to myself. So when I'm going through shit, I will not say anything, which is bad, obviously.
Yeah.
I need to learn to like speak and open my mouth. But every day, like you talking to me now wouldn't even know if I'm going through stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
I understand what you mean.
You know what I mean? So that's how it is. You know, it's a lot of ups and downs every day. But I would say this, try to research BPD and just get enough knowledge on yourself. Don't leave it to therapists.
Right.
You know? don't leave it to the therapist. The therapist is just there to like give you tools to help you with everyday life and be someone there so you can talk to them, you know. But you need to get the knowledge yourself as well. Like I always go on Instagram pages to search BPD profile accounts. Watch YouTube videos on BPD. So that's why you'll see on my stories sometimes I'll post something on BPD.
Yeah.
And the reason why I'm posting it is because I've seen it for myself at that particular time, read it, and I'm like, okay, that helped me reading that. So let me put it on my story because it might help someone else now.
100%.
So that's why. Yeah.
Well, I'm fully grateful that you've been very open about all this anyway, and I think it's great that, you know, people can learn even through something that, you know, sometimes can't be manageable, but you're able to navigate day by day. And obviously, like you said, boxing is an escapism, but also a passion for you. So I'm very grateful for you opening your story about it.
Oh, one more thing. With that condition, do not smoke weed or any drugs. Yeah, do not smoke, especially weed, because I had experience where I went through a low point of depression, and because I don't smoke. I'm not a smoker.
Right.
I don't even like smoking.
Right.
But I went through periods where, because of depression, I needed something to take the pain away. So I was smoking weed, but what the weed was doing was taking me even more into a dark place to the point where I didn't even know who I was. And then it wasn't until I went fuck this, fuck weed, that I'm like, you know, I start to think more clear, and I'm like, wow, man, that is not good to be doing that. Trust me, it does not mix. Drugs with mental health does not mix. I mean, drugs, period, is not good, but drugs with mental health does not mix. So stay away from that stuff, everyone.
So are you just like sober and non-drug, non-alcohol related when it comes to, like, I mean, obviously when you celebrate fights and stuff like that, obviously you would want to go restaurants or whatever it is. Are you completely clean in terms of, like, you know, not wanting to have drinks or smoke or anything like that? You're completely clear of it?
Yeah. I've never been a fan of alcohol. I hate alcohol.
Yeah.
I'm one of those people, like, why do you have to drink to have fun?
Yeah.
And then if you don't drink, why do the people that do drink look at you like you're crazy for not drinking?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
You're weird. Yeah. But why am I the weird one? You're the weird one for having to get wasted to even have any fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's my point of view. So
gotcha.
Like alcohol, I've never liked the taste of alcohol. I mean, when Deji and Kenny, after the fights, we had loads of alcohol in the media room. They give me a beer. I took one sip and I never touched the rest. It was disgusting.
Wow. So it's like, just give me orange juice, please, or water. That's it, done. I don't want this beer stuff.
That's it. Well, yeah, that's it. I've never been a fan of alcohol, man, and all that. Listen, if people want to drink, but I don't like it when people get to the point where they're bloody on the floor puking and all that kind of stuff. That to me, that's not having fun.
Yeah, I get it.
Having fun is having a drink and still being able to party with your friends and still know what the fuck is going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I've been through a few stages in my life where not like I've always been drinking responsibly. I've never been one to be like all nuts and blah blah blah. That's not my style anyway. Yeah. I don't have that character. But there were a few occasions where, you know, just rarely I've been on a bar crawl. Rare. And obviously, you know, the good thing with me is that I'm very cautious. So it's like, even when I've drunk myself silly, but I'm still aware of my surroundings. So it's like, if I'm on the bus now, and then, for example, oh God, it's brewing up, I will actually get off the bus, find a corner, and then get on another bus to make sure I get home. But this was like years ago.
Yeah, exactly, though. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Good. That's good, man.
Yeah, you know, I'm not one of those dons that like literally just drinks themselves stupid. Like, you know, I like to have fun, but as long as I'm able to navigate myself, because I'm paranoid when it comes to especially getting home. It's a crazy one, but at the same time, I've not been one for going out drinking on a regular anyway. It's not my style, never has been.
Nah,
Only special occasions.
Listen, if you're around me, if you're one of those people that drink, I have no sympathy for people that get drunk to the point where they're on the floor and sick. So when you're sick around me, I am harsh. But I'm like, well, you done that to yourself.
I mean, yeah, boy. I mean, if you know, being brethren, if it were the case like that, then boy, like if it was just that one time, I know you'd be like, you know what, boy, I'm brushing my hands with you tonight, boy. I'll just be like, what the fuck is going on? But
like people will look at me like as a mean person for being like that. It's just like, I never done that to you. Yeah, you've done that to yourself.
Yeah,
you know
I got you. Yeah, I got you. But if you're gonna do it, drink responsibly.
Now you suffer the consequences of puking up everywhere.
Well, all I can say to everyone out there of legal age is just drink responsibly. That's all you can do. Like, drink responsibly,
exactly.
don't act like a dickhead in the process. I mean, so final things I want to talk to you about. Obviously, you know, you're training like fighters every day. Like, you know, who would be, you know, people that we should watch out for as like future world champions? Like, who are you training at the moment? You know, besides Deji and Kenny, that's got the prospect of being a world championship boxer.
Yeah, I think just go on my Instagram page, man, because all my pro fighters are there. I post them all the time. So it's not like, where can you find them? They are there all the time because I'm posting them all the time. Yeah. You got George Mitchell, you got Jamal Ake, you've got Martin Foru. They're all undefeated, my pros. And then you've got a couple coming through behind them that are going to turn pro with me in the future. So, yeah, keep an eye out. I only train fighters that I believe can get to a high level. I don't like to waste my time in this game, man. Yeah. Like, you know, because I think I'm like that because of the life that I've lived that I don't want to be. Why should I be second best? You know what I mean?
You want to be number one.
I've been second best. Growing up, I was second best because all the shit I had to deal with. Yeah. So now I'm in control of my destiny, myself. So I only want number one. We work hard every day to be the best, and that's it. But we do that with humbleness at the same time.
Gotcha.
Not with being arrogant. Like Donda West said, I don't know if you've seen this documentary.
I can't say I have, but I know what you're
You need to watch the Kanye West documentary on Netflix.
Oh, the Kanye West that everyone's been talking to me about. I still need to watch it. Yeah.
It is crazy, man. But Donda West said, when a giant looks in the mirror, they see nothing.
Wow.
So, are you getting that?
Yeah, I get it. Yeah. Oh, lordy lord! I need to watch the documentary, man. You just convinced me.
Exactly. So for everyone out there, believe that you're the best. Yes. Yeah. But at the same time, when you look in that mirror, be humble and know who you are and where you come from, and that's it.
Yeah. So, I mean, what's next for you as a coach and as your branding? Then I know that you got merch out at the moment, if I'm correct.
Yeah, I've always had merch.
Right.
I've always had merch.
It's just, had merch,
it's just now because the platform I've got, you know what I mean? Maybe I might get a few more orders now.
I mean, you had like 10K followers more, so they're probably going to look at your stuff and think, oh, yeah, that's a bit more exposure in that way, you know, get my branding on these people, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. What people need to realize is when I had 9,000, 10,000 followers, that's all me, hard work, authentic, you know. Yeah.
100%.
All right. Yeah, my brother and Deji come along and it's added to it. But I work my ass off to get to that point.
Yeah.
So what's next for me is in the gym every day, like I am all the time, grinding away to be the best person that I can be, to do better, be better, and create the next world champions of the future. Yeah.
Well, Daley, I want to absolutely thank you for your time. First of all, like, you've been so great. Like, I've been excited to chat to you all week, and literally, I'm happy that you've been very open about your story, and I definitely appreciate your time on it. So thank you so much for taking the time to speak to me. I really appreciate it.
No problem, bro. We can do it again when there's another event and stuff. You'll probably be at the other event, wouldn't you?
Most likely. I mean, obviously, if I can get connects to, you know what I mean, sort it out, you know what I mean, I'm still grinding to get these events and stuff like that. So, you know, as long as I've been doing this for 10 years, I still get the odd no's, but I'm still pushing for those yeses. So yeah, man.
Yeah, well, we're having a meeting next week. We've been constantly on the phone with the promoter. So it's looking like summertime.
Okay.
Everyone's asking when is Kenny and Deji fighting again. It's probably summer.
Yep.
Which will be nice. Nice summer event.
Yeah. And then get the, you know, if we're talking many men for King Kenny, I mean, what could be next as far as a ring walk? If that was set the bar, you know what I mean? What could be next going up? You know what I'm saying? Especially for Deji as well.
I told Deji you should walk into Barbie girl wearing a pink wig.
Yes. What did he say to that?
His famous laugh, and he was like, "Yeah, I do that," you know.
Yeah. Well, if we see that, you know where you heard it first. So, Daley, thank you once again. If you can tell our audience where they can catch you on all the socials and what's coming up for you, the floor is yours, my dude. Yeah,
Instagram, The Daley Effect. Which is not spelt like the everyday DAILY. It's DALEY, and then effect. Some people get it wrong and put A. It's not that kind of effect. It's E. E. Okay. So The Daley Effect, and then The Daley Effect on TikTok as well. The same.
Nice.
And then YouTube, The Daley Effect TV. Just add TV.
All right. Well. Infamous coach, Coach Daley, The Daley Effect. Yeah, again, thank you so much for your time. You know, enjoy the rest of your day, and you know, hope to see you at the next event, brother.
Yeah, nice one, bro.
All right, and take it easy, bro.
Take care.